Okay, so you've been following the channel for a while. You'll know that pretty much all of my adventures over the last year have involved one particular vehicle, which is the Honda X8R-X. But today things are changing because after 34 years, well 35 now because I'm now 35, no longer 34, I have finally bought my first car, and I hope you'll like it. But there is a problem. I don't currently have it.
I'm on my way. Lace up, start the day. Every turn's a story waiting. I'm on my way.
So let's rewind back a little bit. So at the end of July, I did something that honestly I never really thought I'd be doing this soon, and that was buying a car. But it isn't just any car, it's the first ever car I have owned. I've obviously had the Honda X8R-X Ped for the last year, which has been my main way of getting around, whether that's to my workplace, going out to the shops, meeting up with friends, whatever it may be. And obviously doing a little challenge. And you've obviously seen it pop up in videos when I sort of after I bought it and I sort of explained the Ped, what upgrades I'd done to it or any sort of fixes and other little bits it's had, and all that. So you'd recognise it in a heartbeat. But then I reached a point where I needed to take that next step, and unfortunately there was one fairly major obstacle. I couldn't afford to keep the Honda and have a car at the same time. This is primarily because where I live there isn't a lot of space for storing vehicles. I don't have my own driveway. I don't have a garage or a garage if you're American, sort of attached to my house, so I don't have the space to keep a moped and have a car. So unfortunately the Honda had to go in order to make space for the car. So after a year of owning it, as I mentioned, I made the decision to sell the X8RX Ped, and I'll be honest, it was a difficult decision because I absolutely fell in love with the bike. I'm not really a bike person. I am more of a car guy than sort of bikes, motorbikes, but the Ped definitely stole my heart. The fact that it was rare, because at the time of buying that moped, it was only one of 3 registered on the roads in the UK. Until the point where I sold it, it had then become only one of 2 registered on the roads in the UK. So the rarity alone, obviously, I liked because it was a unique vehicle out on the roads. You know, you saw more of them in Europe than you do over in the UK, so it definitely turned heads whenever I rode it. I remember times riding it and there was people taking pictures, or if I was stopping another, you know, sort of motorbikers, sort of like pulled up alongside in obviously the parking lots, like car parking spaces. And obviously they were asking me about it, and went like, I haven't seen one of these in years. I didn't think they'd still existed. So it was nice to sort of engage in communication with sort of other motorbikers who sort of may remember that Ped back from the early 2000s, where it may have been their first ever bike they owned before they went to their full license, or before they sort of went up to something bigger. So it definitely was special. Obviously when I bought it, it needed some TLC, and I did put some money into it, obviously giving it a new the usual stuff, air filter, battery, spark plug, all that. The one sort of big and most costly upgrade slash repair I did on that moped was a brand new exhaust system. Now, I did attempt to film a video where I was replacing the old exhaust with the new one, as well as at the same time doing the seat and putting a brand new seat cover on. However, things just sort of got all sort of muddled and in the way, and it just ended up never coming to fruition, which I was hoping to bring you guys that video, but unfortunately it never happened, just due to sort of things getting in the way and not quite going how I wanted it planned out, sort of thing. But yeah, it was a very, very special bike. I do miss it. I won't beat around the bush there. I definitely miss it. I wish I could take it for one more spin, but unfortunately I can't, because it's now with its new owner, who has promised me that they will take good care of that bike. So obviously now there's a question that everyone's going to be asking me. What car did I buy? Let me introduce you to Project Blue Lightning. So this is my 2004 Peugeot 206S. It has a 1.4 litre petrol engine paired up with a Tiptronic AL4 gearbox, and it's mine. Now, I know the picture on screen is essentially just a screenshot of the car, so as I took it when I was at the dealership. However, I can't really show you around the car because there is a slight catch. So as I'm filming this, I don't actually have the car sitting outside my house. And the reason for that is because it's currently still with the dealership. Now, as I mentioned, the car was purchased at the back end of July. And it's been just over a couple of weeks since I purchased the car. But there's a reason why it's still at the dealership. Number one, because before I can properly get it on the road, there are a few things that need to be sorted out. So number one is it has a wheel bearings completely gone on one of the front wheels, so it needs to have that replaced. Number two is it needs a headlight adjustment. One of the headlights isn't aimed correctly, so it needs to be readjusted. And then thirdly, the exhaust on the sort of front section of it has a leak, so obviously that needs to be sorted out as well before it's obviously deemed road legal. It did run through an MOT recently. As a matter of fact, on the 14th of August, it went through an MOT. However, it failed on those three things, which is why it doesn't have a valid MOT, which is the reason why it's not at the house. But the dealership have assured me that they are going to get those bits done, and then they're going to get it through another MOT, see if it flags up anything else, and then sort of go from there, basically. And I know there's going to be people watching this video saying, well, if the car's in a bit of a state, why did you go for it? Why didn't you go for something much newer? And you're right, I probably could have. However, there were things that sort of stopped me from going for something newer. Number one, my budget didn't quite stretch to something a bit newer. Number two, I just prefer older cars to the newer cars. Yes, the newer cars are much more fuel efficient and maybe cheaper to tax and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, as I mentioned, I'm 35 years old. I grew up, you know, with some really nice looking cars. And the Peugeot 206 nowadays is a modern classic. And it just appealed to me because I'm part of that generation that played, you know, the good old-fashioned type racing games like Need for Speed Underground, Need for Speed Underground 2, and all that kind of stuff. You know, the original Forza Motorsport, the original Forza Horizon, you know, and then having like the Peugeot 206 was usually like one of the cars that you would sort of start out with. If you played like, I said, the older generation of racing games, so like things like Gran Turismo 2 and all that kind of stuff, like usually a 206. Not all the time, but sometimes would essentially sort of be in the lineup of like a car that you would start with. So I just felt that, you know, being as I'm starting out on my, you know, car ownership journey, a Peugeot 206 was perfect because, you know, you generally start with one in a game, as I mentioned, so why not start with one in real life? And this is where the Project Blue Lightning hashtag comes in, because, as I mentioned, I don't just want to buy the car to drive around. I want to do things to it. So there are going to be modifications, there are going to be road trips, there are going to be videos. There is probably going to be things that go horribly wrong because obviously I'm not mechanically minded, so there may be some mechanical modifications that I may want to do, and then you know, things go horribly wrong. Hopefully they don't, but there's a high chance they will. And knowing me as well, there'll probably be some, you know, unnecessarily challenges involved as well. You know, probably like, can I get from London to Scotland on one tank of fuel or something like that? I don't know. I'm just, you know, throwing something out there. There will be obviously some there'll be some minor interior modifications, you know, just to really make the car mine. So it's, you know, not just another Peugeot 206. You know, this is, you know, Joystick Journeys 206. It's something a little bit different. So that's why I want to do sort of, you know, things like this. Body kit wise, will I put a body kit on it? I don't know. Will I whack a turbo in it? Don't know. It's the modifications are going to be, if my heart is in it, then we'll do it. If it's not, then probably won't. But there will probably be things like changing the wheels for some, you know, better looking wheels and stuff like that. So, you know, those are what we're sort of looking modification level wise. Nothing drastic, but this is me, so they probably will be a drastic modification at some point if I go a little bit crazy. But that, you know, level of modifications, they're going to be very minimalistic effectively. Before anything like that can happen, we need to get the car properly road legal, and as I mentioned, the dealership is doing everything they can and going as quickly as they can to get this car road legal as soon as possible. I did go down there on the Friday that it was due to go in for its MOT when it had it, as I mentioned, and failed. And I did speak to the owner of the dealership, and he has assured me that he's trying to do everything he can. So hopefully it won't be too much longer, but obviously once I do have the car, I can obviously show it off to you guys, so you guys can have a look at it and completely roast me in the comments down below on the car and stuff like that. But yeah, we actually need the physical vehicle. But yeah, as I said, you've seen the pictures on the video that I've put up, so you can sort of see what the car looks like. But yeah, if you want to roast the car, obviously leave a comment down below, because I know some people would like to do that. But yeah, that's probably the biggest change here, because for the last year I've been doing everything on 2 wheels. Now I'm going to be doing it on 4. The Honda X8R-X gave me a lot of memories, but although I've had to let it go to obviously making buying the Peugeot 206 possible, I'm excited to see where the next chapter takes us, because it's going to be interesting. Definitely no more having to worry about, you know, constantly wearing a helmet and gloves, and, you know, wearing a motorbike jacket in 33, 34 degree heat. during the middle of summer. So definitely not going to miss those kind of things, but you know, just having the freedom to have, you know, that ped to be able to get, you know, from A to B and around, and not having to rely on public transport or anything like that was nice. But it's going to be really, really nice to have a car that I can call my own and be able to do things with that. So there we have it, guys. After 35 years, I finally own my very first car. But if you want to follow the journey along, you know, whether it's a case of doing the modifications, interior and exterior, and then front, you know, yeah, just whatever we're going to do with it, then obviously make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because this is only the beginning. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are looking forward to it. And yeah, hopefully the next time I see you guys in regards to Project Blue Lightning, it'll actually physically be nearby, and I'll be able to properly give you guys a tour around it, instead of just showing you pictures of it. Actually show you some video footage of the car. But until then, take care, and I will see you all in the next video. And I'm hoping there will be a next video, but it's definitely not going to be car related. It's going to be something a little bit more of a, let's just say, business related. So stick around, and I'll see you soon.
Every turn's a story waiting.